Yeah. Hello, everybody. I am here doing a live stream.
It looks like it's turning into a flashlight.
Okay. Okay. I'm here. Okay. There's something I specifically wanted to mention. Again, this is the MBLEx test prep YouTube channel. I'm doing a live stream. So if you have any questions about the MBLEx, anything you want me to go over, any information you want me to discuss, hit the live chat over on the side there. Chat away, and we'll have a wonderful discussion. So I'm in my kitchen about to cook myself some dinner. But the other night we had discussed setting up some sort of chat channel. Huge news! I've got it up and running. It's on Discord right now. It's on Discord right now. So what I'm going to do, in the description below this video, when I'm done doing the video, this live stream, I'm going to put a link for the invitation to join the MBLEx Test Prep Discord channel, so we can all talk and discuss amongst ourselves all of the inner workings of the MBLEx. We can prepare together for the MBLEx and all of that fun stuff. So just be on the lookout for that. Like I said, I will post it in the description of the video. In fact, here I will I'll actually just put it in the chat right now, and I will also put it in the description of the video. So if you see this after the live stream has ended, you can just go to the description, find the link there, and then join us. I've got a couple people in there already. Let's see. Hold on one second. Yep, there it is. And I'm posting it in the chat right now. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to Discord. All you do is join. If you don't have an account, just make an account really quick. And then we are set up so we can start talking and chatting and learning together, preparing for the MBLEx together. That light's going to be really annoying, isn't it? I'm sorry. So definitely head over there, do that, and we can start prepping you for the MBLEx as a family, as a one big family, I suppose. So like I said, I am doing the live stream. I am taking questions, comments, concerns, anything regarding the MBLEx, anything you want to know. Now's the time. Hit that chat. Let's hear it. What do you want to know? What kind of information do we want to know? As I stated earlier, I am currently in the process of starting to make my dinner. So maybe we should just start there, huh? Now, I know everybody wants me to do little 10-minute bite-sized videos for consumption, and no pun intended with the consumption part, as I am trying to prep some food. So let's talk a little bit about some information, kind of give us an idea what kind of stuff we might be dealing with. So hold on, I gotta read these directions really quick. How long am I supposed to cook these? Okay. So I'm about to cook dinner, right? Which body system am I going to be dealing with as I consume my dinner? What do you think? As I throw these in the old chef mic. Start that. So if I am preparing dinner, cooking dinner, I'm going to eat this dinner, right? That's part of the digestive system, consuming food. The digestive system is what we deal with. Okay, so when we are consuming food, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of moving parts. I mean, physically moving parts and whatever, you get the idea. A lot of things go into digestion of which we will discuss. Okay, so I take a bite of some food. What structures specifically am I dealing with at that point? When the food enters my body, where does it go? Where do I take a bite? Anyone? Feel free to use the chat to play along. If not, I'm just going to tell you. We take a bite of food, and the food enters our oral cavity. It's also called our mouth, right? We have a few structures in the mouth that are important for you to know. That's great. Close the door. The boy. A few structures in the mouth that we need to know. Of course, we have teeth, right? We have the tongue. We have salivary glands. All of these structures, our cheeks also, are all structures that work together to perform mastication, chewing, right? So the muscle that is primarily responsible for chewing, of course, is called the masseter, named after its action. Its action is mastication, right? We have another muscle, of course, that helps to perform mastication. It's called buccinator. When buccinator contracts, what it does is it pushes, it squeezes, compresses the cheeks, and pushes food in. And when that happens, it kind of forces food back into the mouth between the teeth, and then the teeth start to chew, 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 chew. Masseter performs its action, elevation of the mandible, chew, 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 until the food is manually broken down. Okay. Now, just because the mouth performs manual digestion of the food, I mean, that is the first place that digestion takes place, and that doesn't mean it's the only thing that happens. And chemical reactions in the mouth actually begin to break down the food. So our saliva is slightly acidic, and that starts to break down the food. Amylase is a substance inside of our saliva that helps to really break down the food, break down carbohydrates into sugar. So there's a lot going on in the mouth. Okay, so you chew your food, it mixes with saliva. If it didn't have saliva, if your food didn't have saliva mixed with it or some sort of a liquid, we wouldn't be able to swallow our food. It's just not how it works, unfortunately. So we swallow our food, moves from our oral cavity into our throat, also called the pharynx. Okay. When we swallow, there's a little flap of tissue called the epiglottis that lays on top of the larynx, also called the voice box, and that prevents us from choking. It prevents food from moving into the larynx and cutting off the flow of air. So very important, the epiglottis. So when we swallow, epiglottis closes, prevents choking. So food moves from the pharynx down into the esophagus. Okay? The esophagus goes straight down. All it does is move food from one place to another. So in the esophagus, we have smooth muscle. When that smooth muscle in the esophagus contracts, it does it rhythmically in waves. So it contracts here, this part contracts here, and that forces the food down, and then further, and then it does it again every time we swallow. And this goes segment by segment down the esophagus to force food down the esophagus. Okay. So food enters. That is great. Thank you. Food enters the stomach at that point, right? It goes from the esophagus down into the stomach on the left side of the abdomen. Okay. Owen, I am busy. Thank you. So food enters the stomach, and the stomach, just like the mouth, performs manual digestion. It churns the food, but it also produces stomach acid, like hydrochloric acid and pepsin. These are substances that help to break down the food in our stomach. So it churns the food, mixes it with those stomach acids, and those help to break the food down into smaller portions until the food isn't really food anymore. At that point, it becomes what's called chyme. Okay, so when the food is digested, properly digested, it moves from the stomach into the small intestine. Now, the small intestine is where the majority of our nutrients are absorbed, but it doesn't really start absorbing nutrients until the food, the chyme, enters the second part of the small intestine. The first part is the very last place where food is digested. It's called the duodenum. Okay, so the three parts of the small intestine are the duodenum, in order: the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. Okay, so in the duodenum, the chyme is mixed with substances that are produced by the liver and the pancreas. The liver produces bile. These next three are called accessory organs because food doesn't actually move through them, but they help us digest our food. Okay, so the liver creates bile. The pancreas creates pancreatic juices. It's kind of a gross term, pancreatic juices, but I mean, that's just what they're called. Okay, so the bile goes from the liver down into the gallbladder. So the gallbladder, all it does, bladders in general, like the urinary bladder, just store things inside of them. Okay, so when we are eating our food, it enters the small intestine, the chyme enters the small intestine, and then the bile is released from the gallbladder into the small intestine, into the duodenum. And bile helps to emulsify fats, break down fats, so they can be used by our body for energy. Okay? Pancreatic juices travel the same route as the bile through the bile duct and into the small intestine, into the duodenum, and help to further break down the chyme. Okay, so after the food is 100% completely digested, at that point, it moves from the duodenum into the jejunum. The jejunum is where the majority of absorption takes place in the small intestine. Okay, and then it moves from the jejunum after the nutrients are absorbed, the absorbable nutrients anyway, after those are absorbed. Then it moves into the ileum, cleans up the last little bit of absorption, and then it moves into the large intestine. Okay, and when it moves into the large intestine, it no longer becomes chyme; it becomes feces. So food enters the large intestine. Now, the large intestine is responsible for moving food through it, getting rid of waste.
Dad,
Yes.
I'm starting a gold leaf collection.
Yeah, gold leaf collection. That's great.
This one really up high in the backyard.
I'm busy, dude. Thank you.
I'm starting my own gold leaf collection.
He knows exactly what he's doing. So when the feces is in the large intestine, it's not just bacteria breaking it down and turning it into feces. Something else is actually being absorbed from the substances in the large intestine. The large intestine absorbs water, which is very important. We don't want to lose all the water in those nutrients in those substances. We need to reabsorb some of that water. So the large intestine will reabsorb the water, and that helps to kind of solidify the feces. And then we are able to pass it as I go through puberty. Excuse me. So if our body doesn't absorb enough water from the feces, you might end up with diarrhea. And that means you have too much water in your stool. So that could lead to dehydration because you're losing all of that water. If your body absorbs too much water from the feces, you might end up with constipation, which is not good. You don't want to be constipated. So it's just like homeostasis. It's kind of fluctuating around, where the body is optimally. It's either absorbing too much, and if it absorbs too much, it'll kind of rectify the situation and absorb maybe too little. And like I said, it's just fluctuating around that. Okay, so that's basically what happens with the digestive system, and what happens to my food disappear. Oh, so it's still in the microwave, of course. So that's, you tell me, was that a good 10-minute video? I could go a little more in depth if you want. I don't know. You tell me, and if I need to make any changes, I will. But that was about 10 minutes. That was about 10 minutes. So digestive system. There you go. That's essentially it. I could go into the sphincters of the digestive system. I don't know. What do you think? Like I said, I do have a Discord channel open now for you to join. There is a link in the live chat. If you don't see it there, look down in the description below this video for those that aren't watching live. And you should find it. Join us at the Discord channel and we can talk, we can communicate, we can learn together all of the fun stuff involved in the MBLEx. Get you ready to pass your test, which is important. You need to do that. Okay, so that was a little quick 10-minute bite-sized piece of information for you, all about the digestive system. So I am now going to finish making my dinner, and I'm going to call it an evening. So thank you for joining me. Again, comments and stuff, leave them, subscribe, share, everything. I don't know. Get your fellow classmates ready for the MBLEx with me as your instructor. That's about it. So until next time.